We'll wait and see. I'm not really going to talk until people get in here, if anybody. Hey, we got somebody in. How are you? So today, all I'm working on, or right now I should say, not today, because I'm sure I'll do something else as the night goes on, is I'm going to grind to fit a Kiki's butt pad. Right, so this customer has got this shotgun, and the butt pad is just a little hard. It's gotten hard on him over the years, and he's an older gentleman, so I've got this thinner Kiki's, right? I mean, it's nice and squishy, because he didn't want to cut down the stock, because this thing is beautiful, right? I mean, it's got a beautiful piano finish. So yeah, I'm gonna grind this one to fit, because you can sit here and see it's got a hell of a lip all the way around it. So pretty much the way that I do that, and the reason for the tape, is I'm not going to mount this and then go over and grind it like so. It's not what that's for. I'm actually going to make marks on this and then grab my jig and mount it in the jig and then take it over to the belt sander. Will I take y'all along for the belt sander? Who knows? But yeah, and both of them left, so. Now I'm got nobody to watch. Wish that light wasn't like washing me out so much. There we go. Maybe I can hide it with my big giant head. Where is that punch? There we go. Hey, good evening. So what I'm working on tonight is grinding to fit this butt pad. So the holes that are in this butt pad don't line up with the holes that are currently on here. So I'm about to drill those, right? And the reason for the tape is I'm going to come along and mount this to here and then actually scribe a line all the way around it, remove it, and then take it over to the jig to, yeah. But, yeah, once I scribe it and grind it, then I can put it on there and finish sanding it at that point in time. But if y'all have any questions about gunsmithing or what I'm doing, please just let me know, okay? I'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Does anybody have any questions about gunsmithing? Any at all? I'm going to mount that one first. And then I'll get my screws. Where are my screws? I just had them up here. Story of my life. 5 minutes worth of work, 10 minutes of looking for the part you just had in your hand. Now some people are going to sit here and scream for what I'm about to do, and trust me, it's not as bad as it seems. And that is, I'm actually going to use a Fordham tool to cut or drill my holes for the butt plate, or butt pad, I should say, butt pad. But if you have any questions about gunsmithing, just let me know, or any questions about what I'm doing, or any questions on why I'm so fat. I don't care at this point in time. I'm sorry about the light over my shoulder. I really don't have an option when it comes to that. Now you might be wondering, why am I using this? One, it's smaller. I have more speed control because it's got a foot pedal to it. And secondly, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. There we go. I just drilled that bottom hole. If I was using like a regular cordless drill, getting my sight in good enough to actually see and make it straight would have been a problem. So now I'm just laying this back up here. I'm going to put in a punch in that hole just so I can line up this second hole. Yeah, that's going to be stupid close too. I can move it just a smidge. But if y'all got any questions, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Because this is really and truly the slowest part of doing this kind of job. Holy crap, now I got 6 people in here, so I'll explain everything again. So, I've got this stock off of a shotgun. Customer wanted a new butt pad to put on it, so this is a kick ease grind to fit. I just drilled the new holes for the butt pads to fit. Alright? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find some screws, because I've set mine down somewhere here on the workbench. I've misplaced them, either that or they're still in the box that I got this from. And then I'm going to mount it, and then what I'm going to do is basically take a X-Acto knife and go around it and actually cut into this, then remove it. Then I've got a jig that I'm going to mount it to, and we're going to sand it to fit. That way I can keep the angle of the toe here, because I hate when stocks end like that, right? So I've got it lined up pretty well on the top to where I can grind that toe just a little bit better, right? And keep the flow of it a lot better. So let me grab some screws and I'll be right back. Y'all just sit here and stare at the ceiling and tell me how many wasps I got. See, that didn't take too long. So now whenever, and I encourage everybody to do this, if you're ever removing your butt pad or any screw that is in wood, always make sure that you lubricate your screws, right? All I'm doing is putting just a little bit of ballistol. I don't like using gun oil or, well, gun oil is okay. Some cleaners, not so much, like hops. And what's also great is when it goes through your butt pad, it doesn't start tearing up your rubber, right? That always sucks. So now I just line it up. And then grab a screwdriver with the appropriate bit. Now, what is the appropriate bit? I like Phillips heads on these. I mean, that's what ships with these Kickies ones. I like them. I've got nothing against the ones who, use flathead. That's perfectly fine. But what I do is I just go slow. I've already drilled the holes because these didn't line up with the factory holes. And I'll just do one until it gets tight. Then I do the next one. Then I just go back and forth, back and forth. And I'm also listening, because I've got it marked on my drill bit about how deep I need to go, but that's not always precise. So I can sit here and listen to the wood and see if it cracks or breaks. And just having that lubricant on there helps prevent that dramatically. Now, I don't want to just bear down on this thing. I just want to get it tight. And you have to keep going back and forth, because it'll work like a teeter-totter. Do kids even play on teeter-totters anymore? How do kids go to parks anymore? I know my kids do, but my kids have always been weird. You can see now we've got this big old gap on both sides. This is where the tape comes in. Most people think that I immediately go over to a grinder or a sander and just start grinding and sanding. No, that is a damn surefire way of scratching this stock. And this has a beautiful piano finish on it. I'm not doing that. What I'm going to do is take an X-Acto knife, set it on here, and just scribe a line all the way around. Okay? That is going to be my guide. It doesn't take long, and it doesn't have to be absolutely dead on perfect. What we're doing is getting it very, very close, because after we do put this in a jig and sand it, of course off the stock, we're going to come back with files and oil and finish it off. But I do probably, God, I don't know, 30 to 40 of these a year. So yeah, now this is something that people think is sacrilege that I'm about to do, but I do it anyways. Power tools. I'm not tightening down, I'm backing off. Yeah, I've got it in reverse. Now I don't want to just send it home, right, and run it as fast as I can, because you can mess up the rubber here, even though it has been oiled. Okay. All right. But now I don't know how well. Yeah, you can see I've got a line all the way around here. Okay. And I got a little off somewhere. Where'd I get off? Oh, down here. Yeah. But I got it back. So that's all that matters. All right, let me go grab the jig. So this is a very, oh, and thank you for whoever did the like while I walked away. Dear Jesus. So this jig is kind of cool, right? That damn light, right? I can loosen the wing nut up here, and I can change the angle of it, right? And that I need to match. I'm going to try to do this upside down, right? So I've got it lined up with the straight line for the front. Then I come along the back and I'll move it to make it fit there. Whoop. And once I get it where I want, I tighten it down. And then legitimately all I'm going to do is bolt this in, right? And it hangs just like this, okay? Let's take that off. So the butt pad will be on here, and it hangs in front of my belt sander, and you see it's got an angle to it. Well, that angle kind of matches this angle, right? And then I can just sit here and go around, and it will cut everything the way it should. Now, am I going to take y'all over there for that? No, I'm not. I'm really and truly not. Why? Because it's loud, it's noisy, it's dirty, so on and so forth. But this should take me about 5 minutes. So if y'all want to stick around, you can. If not, that's fine too. Once again, just stare at the ceiling, stare at this bright, ugly light that I want to replace, and count how many like wasp or dirt divers I've got. fine. Alright, so this is why, right? So just sanding and everything else, it gets everywhere. I don't know if you heard how loud that was. It is fairly loud. But that dust just gets everywhere. It's nasty. But you see we've got some high areas. We'll get all that out with a file, right? We got one there, one right in there. But everything else came out really well, really good. Followed the line, took me right at 5 minutes. So, yeah. Now to screw this back on, and then we will finish with a little bit of oil and some filing. If y'all have any questions, just ask. I ain't bashful, I'll tell you. No, well, no one's watching, so no one can ask any questions if no one's watching. Nope, not one. Okay. If you got any questions, just ask. I do gunsmithing full-time. This is my full-time job. This is my full-time gig. So, yeah. Back that one out just a little bit. But mounting a new butt pad is not as easy as people sometimes thinks it is. Some people think, oh, well, it's just a 5-minute job. You just slap it on there and Bob's your uncle. No. Like, I've been going for 23 minutes now. And I'm about halfway done. But ask questions, ask away. And let me know what you think. If you think I'm a moron, tell me I'm a moron. Hell, I don't care. You can call me fat too, I don't mind. Whatever makes you feel better about yourself. I'll try not to sing. I got a little off right there, but that ain't bad. The reason I say I got a little off, as you can see, that side's a little more than that side, but I can fix that with a file. I don't use a really aggressive file. I mean, this is a little bit more than like what you would file your nails with, right? But now, just, I need to charge my phone. Uno momento. I didn't realize my phone was dying. How's everyone's night going? Sorry, I'm just trying to plug in the phone. There we go. It says it's slow charging though. This isn't supposed to be a slow charger, this is supposed to be a fast charger. There we go. I think so. Yeah. Stupid cheap chargers. There we go. Hate that angle, but it's what I got. So now all I do is just put a little bit of oil, right? And I just get my file, and I just file. This sometimes takes 5 minutes, sometimes this takes 15 minutes. So, but come in with some gunsmithing questions, or gun questions, or what happens if penguins and polar bears ever met? You know, something. I feel like laughing. Tell me a joke. Tell me a bad dad joke. That would be great. Because my kid has gotten to where she hates my dad jokes, so this would be a perfect opportunity to learn some more, just so I can give her hell. Like a good dad's supposed to. Right there. And this is another really great reason to have the tape, right? Because if I get a little over aggressive, I've got 3 layers of tape around this thing. So, and I clean off my file from time to time just on an old rag I've got sitting here. And all I'm doing is finish cleaning and buffing it off, just to get this looking better. And once I get it all down like I want, to get rid of the file marks, I actually put the hard plastic in with a buffer. And I'll just buff it ever so lightly just to give it a more uniform look. And that's it right there. Ask your questions. Ask away. Full-time gunsmith. Hell, and you could sit here and talk about how guns are evil for all I care. I'm mounting a butt pad on this shotgun. And I've gotten everything drilled new holes, right? Excuse me. Let me go polish this. Friend, chill. Alright, and I buffed it out. Right. Got most of the little scratches out, so on and so forth. I always say most because if I sit here and say all, then somebody's going to sit here and see one itty bitty one and go, oh, you didn't get all of them out, you lying, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Still no comments, no chats, no look at this fat ass, nothing. Huh, weird. Usually I have a couple by now. That needs a little bit more lubricant. But this butt pad is about done. So, takes me right at 30 minutes, 35 minutes to do these, which isn't horrible. Now all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of cleaning to it, just because whenever I sanded a lot of it, I don't want any of those little particulates that might still be there. You know what I mean? And ta-da! We're good. We're done. So, set that off to the side. So, any questions, anything? I know I only got one person, but any questions for a full-time gunsmith? Nope. Cool. Just leave. That's fine. I'll just stay. At least I got a light, so that's nice. I got one light. Let me go see what else I can grab and work on. So let's see. Customer states bolt is locked up. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty locked up. So let's diagnose this one. This is a Stevens Model 870-22. And he wants me to call with a price. So I'm not going to do any major work on it today. I'm just going to figure out why it's locked up. So this is almost identical to some Stevens. Stevens, J.C. Higgins, that kind of thing are all pretty much, let me say that again, pretty much the same. Look at all that. That's not rust. That's just varnish from buildup of oil and lack of maintenance. That's perfectly fine. I can get all that off. Got a bunch of it here on the firing pin as well. I mean, even the bolt handle's just full of it. So the trigger sear system is free. Just the hammer, the bolt itself is just seized. Not seeing anything standing out there, so I'm willing to bet this has just got heavy varnish. And yeah. So I've just got a rubber mallet and I'm just barely Tap, tap, tapping away. Just to see if it'll move, and it hasn't. Huh. Y'all fight and get it over with. This is either going to be really bad or really good. I don't know. But I got a new shop cat because my old shop cat was just getting lonely. I don't know if y'all hear her in the background, but she's screaming at him. Excuse me, my nose is running. Excuse me. But I've had the new cat for over a week now. But for some reason, Brian, original shop cat, still does not like Webley, the new shop cat. Man, these screws are just in there, man. Good Lord. Let me see if I can find my corner screwdriver. Yes, I have a screwdriver that will screw around a corner. I do. I just gotta find it. There it is. So the problem I'm running into is removing this screw. You can't go straight because it's got the trigger control here. So what I did years ago working on these things is this is just an Allen key that I ground to fit. And it fits right in there. I know y'all can't really see because I can't prop this phone up for some reason. I got a new case, and I just found out today that I just bent that. Alright, because I really and truly hate popping out these pins because they're riveted in. Right, they're actually hammered over and riveted in. So that makes life a lot more difficult. I'm just trying to get this bolt out, man. This is the pain. This is gunsmithing, you know. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Let me get a thicker bit. And one a little wider too. Hey, I've got 5 people watching. I think that's the most I've had watching at one time. If you have questions for a gunsmith, just drop them down below and I'll try to answer them. Sorry I can't put this to where y'all can actually see because I used to have it actually hanging over my workbench, but that just isn't going to work today for some reason. Man, it is. Let me put a little heat to it. I hate doing this, but sometimes has to be done. Because this thing's got so much varnish on it. And just old oil. That's what I'm calling varnish, is old oil that has just dried. A lot of it will clean up with some turpentine. Now this little torch, this little pin torch for like small soldering and the shrink wrap for electrical, but it's got such a small point that I can get in here and just hit this screw and it doesn't get super hot to where I'm changing the temper or anything like that. It is just enough for me to try to get this kind of hot. It's starting to smoke now. I doubt you can see that. And then put in a little bit of coal. just to have that loosen up a little bit. And that bit's still a little small. That one's going to be too thick. Trying to get at it with just a normal screwdriver again. That ain't going to work. Get my little custom made one that I've already shown off, but I don't know if the people watching saw it. To get down underneath. Any questions about gunsmithing? Just ask. This daggum screw is just not wanting to let go. Very strange. It's too low for me to get a pair of pliers on it. Any questions about gunsmithing? Any questions at all? Any comments at all, really? Because I'm at 42 minutes now without a single comment. Got a couple more likes, though. I appreciate that, whoever sent those. It didn't pop up saying, hey, you know, Jim Bob gave a like, so I appreciate it. Man, this thing is just really stuck on there. Got that's out of the way. Let me see about tapping on it again. You don't want to just beat the hell out of it, because that's how you bend and break things. Let me put some Kroll in it. I love Kroll, and it smells so good. I don't know what they put in it, but between this and hops number 9, I think that should be like candles and colognes that men could get behind. Well, at least the men and women that are in the firearms industry. Get my little torch back out. I'm just going to heat up the bolt just a little bit, the breech, just to get that Kroll to kind of get in there. Yeah, you see it burning off a little bit. Because the story this one was it was the customer's dad's, and it's been set up for years. I asked him where was it set up, and he goes, his house. Inside? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Get some more Kroll on it. But this is still just under my diagnostics. I'm thinking, just looking at the hammer, all that's buildup of oil and varnish is pretty much what the oil turned into. And that's what I'm willing to bet all this stuff is just stuck, because all that oil is just solidified. So I'm just trying to break it loose to confirm that. And it's not wanting to release. Let me drop this in the sonic cleaner and see if the sonic cleaner can help. Give me 30 seconds. Hello, Webley. That's sitting there. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? I appreciate the thumbs up. Let's see, what is my battery up to? Not high enough. So yeah, I'll move into the office for just a few minutes. That way I can cut this thing on, because it's kind of loud. Like here, it's kind of loud. And this will give me time to sit here and talk and see if anybody's got any questions or anything like that. Come on, stand up. With the charger, it's hard to use the kickstand. But any questions at all about gunsmithing? Come on. There we go. Hello, Webley. Come here. Come here, and I'll pet you. Meow. Hey, my boy. This is Webley. Right? He's a sweet boy. He is my new cat. Brian is still not happy that he's here. But he is 13 pounds of cat. Yeah. Well, he's probably more now because he's actually getting fed. Fed him for about a week. But I'm trying to still get other people into gunsmithing. I was very excited to hear that 2 more have popped up just north of me. I was really excited about that. I know, oh my God, a business owner who's happy about competition. You darn Skippy. One guy's wanting to do more of the precision game. The other guy is mostly a shotgun smith, which is fine. That's what he knows, that's what he's passionate about, so let him do him. But here, if I don't get a comment here soon, wait a minute, I got a comment, hold on. Hops number 9 has banana oil in it. I didn't know that, Big Tex. I didn't know it had banana oil in it. What does Kroll have? Because I like Kroll better than I do hops. My wife likes hops better. Make a little funny. And one of the reasons I knew my wife was the one was we were dating, and I had the day off and went to the range and shot a bunch and came home and started cleaning right there on the kitchen table. And I was cleaning with hops. My wife came in from work and she stops and goes, "What does that smell?" And I go, "Well, it's hops. You know, I'm sorry, is it bothering you?" She goes, "No, I love it." And I was like, "Yep, love you." You know. Yeah. It's kind of how I knew. Well, one of the reasons, that and she can cook. My God. Any young man out there, find you a partner that can cook. Yeah, that's my biggest advice. But how's everything going, Big Tex? I ain't been on here in a while. I had to step away from social media as a whole because, well, it got to be a lot for me. Just running the business, raising kids, working on the house, everything else, it was getting to be a lot. So social media is kind of where I just kind of stepped away. I'd love to. I've got more videos I filmed months ago. I still need to edit those and upload them on here. I don't know if I will anytime soon or not, because my time is rare. It's really rare for me to have free time. I knew tonight that I only had a few small jobs, you know, inspects, that kind of thing. I've got to tear down one for Cerakoting. It's going to be fleck tarn. That's going to be fun. I just hate what it's on. Right? I know I might get some grief about this, but I do not like the Bear Creek guns. I just don't. And this is one of their bolt action guns. I'm just not a fan. Um, I feel like, hey, if you spend a little bit more money, you get better thing. What, boy? What? Well, cuckoo cook yourself too. But, anyways, I've been fighting that laser for laser stippling. I have been fighting it like hell. Plain and simple. It is just been a lot. What quote unquote free time I've had was spent working on that stupid laser. Big Tex, man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really and truly am. Um, I'll keep you in my thoughts. But yeah, that cancer's no joke. My father passed away a little over a year ago now from it. So yeah, I know how hard it is. Um, the only word of advice if you're doing chemo treatments that helped Dad seemed to be smoking beforehand and afterwards, but I think that was just him. And hot compresses. So yeah, that's the only thing that helped him. But I hate to hear you're closing down the shop, man. Now you had a gun shop too. You weren't? Did you do gunsmithing? Help me remember, because it's been so long since we talked. Yeah, I appreciate it. He was diagnosed and given 6 months. He lasted 3.5 years. And I told him the only reason he's lasted that long was because he was stubborn as shit. That made him laugh. And of course, everyone else in the family is sitting here going, oh, well, he doesn't need to smoke. I'm sitting here going, he just got a death sentence. Let the man smoke. I flat out told the family in front of him, I was like, if that man told me right now that he wants an 8 ball of cocaine and like 6 midget hookers, okay, I would leave this house and go and find him everything I can, okay, plain and simple, right? Because my feelings is a man has the right to go out in his own way. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he was having fun. It was the last like 3 months that was rough, is when he went down fast. So yeah, like I know at one point in time he was talking about something with the local police, and he was like, "What?" And excuse my language, but it was just my dad. He's like, "What the fuck they gonna do? Put me in jail? Shit, I'll die before I get to the fucking court." And I just started dying out laughing. Everybody else was like, "You don't need to talk that way." I got it. I understood. So yeah, mostly gunsmithing. Okay. Here's my question for you, Big Tex. When you beat this, are you going to get back into it? And I mean that as a serious question. Um, good, good, because you need a goal. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. Oh, but I've got to get some bluing stuff done because I'll be bluing not this weekend, but probably next weekend. Yeah, same. I love the work. You know what I hate? I hate two things. And I'm going to go on a little rant here and I apologize. One, I hate some of my customers. Hate them with a passion, right? because they're 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 educated morons. Okay, like I've got one. He is a doctor. Okay, he teaches at a local university, not a community college, but a university. Okay, he's got like three different PhDs. He's a very smart man. Okay, but trying to sit here and teach him, right? Because I tried to teach him how to clean his AR. Okay, and it was real simple. You remove cap, set cap off to side, drink from bottle, take cap, reinstall cap. Okay, this moron would sit here and go, okay, okay, okay. I take cap, I tighten cap, I try to drink water, I take cap off, I set it to side, I pour on my head. Okay? I spent a solid hour with that man. Okay? Just trying to teach him how to clean an AR. And I'm like, sir, I don't mean this ugly. I says, because you're not stupid. You've got more letters in front of your name than I do in my entire name. Okay? This ain't for you. Right? But it never fails. Every month or so, he'll bring in something that he's like, well, I tried watching a YouTube video to take it apart and I can't put it back together. Okay? And I kind of feel bad of taking his money, being honest, but I'm in business. And that's what I tell him every single time. I feel bad taking your money, but I'm in business. So like he came by with an FRT and he was like, yeah, he had his buddy put it in and now it doesn't work. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't work? I load it up, step outside with it, ran like a scalded dog, and he's just sitting here scratching his head. Well, I don't know what I was doing. Like, I don't either. But the other thing I absolutely despise, and it's not for the reason that most people would think, is the ATF. Okay? So I just went to one of their seminars. They put on a seminar just about every year, just to kind of cover, hey, this is updates on regulations, let's ask questions, that kind of thing. I sat here and asked about the FRTs. I was like, what am I supposed to do? I says, because they're not legal, but they're not illegal, right? Rare Breed is legal because I got a letter, but all these other companies aren't. Okay, what am I supposed to do? They're like, oh, we don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I said, okay, let's be hypothetical. Let's say a man comes in with his, AR, and it's got an FRT in it, and he wants it Cerakoted. Okay, he comes in today, right? Tomorrow, I get an email saying that they're outlawed. Okay? What am I supposed to do? I can't confiscate it. That's his property. Am I supposed to call y'all? What am I supposed to do here? That's putting me in a hell of a pickle. Their response? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You are the ones who are going to either fine me or jail me. And I'm too ugly for jail. Okay? So, give me an answer. Right? One way or the other. Okay? We don't know. That's up to you. Okay, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Then I had questions about NICS. They couldn't answer that. I had questions about the TTB. They had no answer for that. And it's just absolutely, positively frustrating. Because I'm one of these that, yes, ignorance is bliss, right? But on the same side, I want to know. Does that make sense? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And like what I'm most afraid of is the TTB, because that's their tax bureau or whatever it is. The people that deal with taxes are the ones that scare the hell out of me the most. Okay? FBI can come in. They don't worry me that much. ATF comes in. They don't bother me that much. You see what I'm saying? I show the respect and answer questions and things of that nature. Anything with the tax service, the state, the IRS, whomever, right? I get nervous as hell. Why? Because that's how they got Al Capone. You see what I'm saying? No one else in the government could get them. But you get one little nerd with some glasses that can, dig through paperwork, right? Sat here and took down the biggest gangster who had, politicians and judges on payroll. Okay? And they got him. I'm not that smart. Okay? I pay an accountant a lot of money to help me with that. But the bad thing is the accountant doesn't understand the TTB side. So I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? It's frustrating. And big techs, I'm starting to realize that there's 4 other people watching me rant, go on a crazy, weird rant about this right now. And they're probably sitting here going, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah. But what's weird is, and I've been telling people this, for the past few months, it's supposed to be my slow season. The summer, and you know this for being a gunsmith, the summer is usually your slow months. I have not had any slow months at all. Okay? I've, in fact, had other gunsmiths reach out to me from across the country asking about bluing. I go, yeah, I do bluing. Had another one go about stock work, doing checkering and that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, I do that. So they're sending me stuff now. And I have just been rocking and rolling. I need to take a day off, but I like money too much, if that makes sense. So, yeah. But big techs, give me something else to sit here and rant and rave to be entertaining. Because I'm assuming you're still here. So, yeah. What's a crazy thing you've been working on? Because I've got a Winchester Model 12 that's about to drive me bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Everything mics out correctly. Everything, you run it, it runs fine. You fire one shot, the whole system just locks the hell up. See, and for the most part, which I didn't find out till the other day at that seminar, I thought I was the only gunsmith for a while, and, when I say slow months, so like hunting season's coming up here soon. So during hunting season, I'll work about 12, 16 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. Okay? And I'll crank out over 30 to 40 items. Now I have to say items, right? Because I work on more than just, firearms, especially when it comes to like Cerakoting, right? I'll get stuff in where they want stuff Cerakoted for Christmas, for instance, okay? So, yeah, but during the summer months, that usually gets cut, to 15, which is great because that's usually when I go through training. I make improvements to my shop. I do things of that nature, right? Because I make enough during the winter, right, to where my bills are paid and I've got a nice little paycheck too, right? But this year, my God, I think what was it, last Friday? Yeah, because I was closed Saturday. Last Friday, I clocked in like 15 guns in one day. And that's being steady. And that's, like I said, in years past, that was for the month. And I'm getting it in one day now. So, yeah. But I'm trying to get some other stuff going. I've got some other things coming down the pipeline. Like one, I'll sit here and say, I'm probably going to move into manufacturing. I don't really want to, but looking at some changes in the regulations and that kind of thing, I think that's going to make more sense for me. Because right now I've just got an O1, and it's fine, right, for basic gunsmithing. But I've just noticed I've been getting a lot more calls for manufacturing, so I might get into it. Still thinking about it, probably going to do it. Just got to get with the insurance companies and all that fun stuff and see what that's going to change. Because, they've got to have their money too. Unfortunately. But Big Tex, what do you do mostly with your gunsmithing? Like mine's mostly just basic repairs. Oh yeah. And there's one company I despise. Okay, one company. It's not TriStar. It's not Charles Daly, right? Rite. I hate Rite with a passion. I had one come in the other day. The shell latch was just worn out, right? And that's such thin, crappy sheet metal that I couldn't weld it up. I couldn't stretch it, right, to make it work a little bit better. Nothing, right? So I call up Retail and go, hey, this is what I got. I just need the part. Oh, we don't sell parts. What do you mean you don't sell parts? Yeah, we're not selling parts. That only goes to our certified factory people. I went, okay, how do I go about being one of those? Oh, well, it's all in-house. Okay. This guy hadn't had this gun a year yet. Okay. And looking at it, he probably hadn't put a case of ammo through it. And is it still under warranty? Nope. That part's not under warranty. What the hell do you mean it's not under warranty? This gun's less than a year old. Okay? Less than a year old. Nope. Well, what is the customer going to have to do? Well, he's going to have to ship it to us. We're going to charge him like $300, and then he's going to have to pay to ship it back. I go, so he's paying shipping both ways, plus paying y'all to put in a part that legitimately isn't going to take me, if I could get the part, would not take me 15 minutes. You see what I'm saying? Would not take me 15 minutes to install it. Now, would I have to tweak it a little bit? Maybe. Okay? Maybe. But it is legitimately a pin. Pull the pin, put the part in, put the pin back, work it, test fire it, clean it, send it out the door. Right? Part I'm not expecting to be, $50, $75 at the most. Right? Webley, no sir, you're not scratching up my office, dude. You got scratching post in the back for that. But yeah, nope. And then I've had other ones come in, their extractor broke. And I'm like, can't even buy an extractor. Let's see. I do a lot of barrel threading for suppressors. We have big hog hunting communities here. Yeah. I bet y'all do. I do a fair amount of threading. To be honest, I don't do many of them anymore. I contract them out now. I'll pull the barrels, and I've got a machinist up the road. He used to be a gunsmith. He got tired of all the BS, and now he's just a machinist. And usually, I'll drop off a bunch of them, say on like a Monday. I'll get them back on like Friday or Saturday. So, yeah. But we don't have that many hogs here. Got a neighbor up the road who said he found some spots where they've been digging and wallering. So we're going to go look at it probably next week. Put out some cameras around there and see if they're staying. If they are, I'll be going out there to kill some. So that'll be fun. I haven't been on anything like that. Now, what I want to do one day before I die is do some of the hog hunts y'all got out in Texas to where it's on a helicopter. That's what I want. I want to sit here and mow down hogs from a helicopter. Because I'm not as crazy as some of the guys I've seen. I watched a video a while back of a fella. I mean, this has been a couple years ago, I guess, when I saw the video. Man standing in a tree with a spear. And he jumped down and speared a hog. I ain't that crazy. Yeah. That's what I want to do, man. It's on my bucket list. I've jumped out of a perfectly good aircraft. I have bungee jumped. Now I need to shoot something out of a helicopter. That's on my list. If I lose enough weight, I might sit here and go skydiving again with a minigun. I've shot miniguns. I've worked on one. They are fun. They are fun. But I tell folks it's kind of like the first time you're with a woman, that ammo goes way too quickly. You know. Yeah. I always said that if I got one, though, I would get one with the backpack. Yeah. That way I can sit here and pretend I'm, what is his name? I lost it from the Predator movie. It's gonna bug me now. But just, yeah. Even though I know that backpack will be gone in like 10 seconds, it'd be fun. Yes! Jesse Ventura, that's his name. Ugh. But yeah, that and the only other thing I've got on my gun bucket list, and it's not really a gun, it's a flamethrower. I haven't operated a flamethrower. That's about it. I've shot cannons, machine guns, belt-fed submachine guns, full auto shotguns. Done all that. Done full auto 50 cals. Flamethrower is what's left on my line. And people are also making fun of me now because I like 22s. You know, if I had an option, right? Hey, you're going to shoot this all day long. Shooting something like a Ma Deuce or a Barrett all day long, my God, that'll wear you out. Give me a 22. I can have fun shooting a 22. You know. Of course, I'm trying to teach my daughter how to shoot now. She's 6, so it's still a little tough, but she has fun. I have fun. We'll spend, 15, 20 minutes shooting And that'd be that. Right. Oh, alright. I'm only at 20%. I need to charge a little bit more before I go back here. But yeah. 22 Hornet, those are fun, right? I get to work on this one. It is a Ruger #1 in 218B. I don't think I've ever shot a B. But yeah, 22 Hornets are fun. Oh, they're a lot of fun. They're kind of popular around here too. And I say kinda, you know, because they don't walk in every day, but they walk in enough that I keep ammo on hand. Because you still got a lot of guys with the 22 Hornet and the 22 Magnums go squirrel hunting. Yep, or rabbit hunting with them. Yep. And I always sit here and make fun of them. I was like, y'all go rabbit hunting? I go, yeah. I says, hell, I don't have to. I don't even go rabbit hunting because it's no fun. What do you mean it's no fun? I sit here and walk out of my front door here of my shop. I'll walk out tonight and we'll probably see 7 or 8 rabbits. I've sat here during the day and looked out of my windows and have seen rabbits just out eating grass, playing, doing other things that, you know, animals do. You know, it's just no fun. It's just like deer hunting on my property. Hell, they'll walk up to you. It's no fun. I don't feed them. They're just not afraid of me. Great for bobcats. Oh yeah, that'll put a bobcat on its butt right fast in a hurry like. Which that's something we don't have that much of either. We've got wild cats, just house cats that have been turned out and gone feral. But we don't have bobcats really, which is a good thing. Because I figured we would with as many goat farms and cow farms and things like that around us, but I guess they took care of it back in the day and they ain't got to worry about it now. Still got a few foxes around here, which they don't bother me none. And yeah, my daughter did see a new kitty the other day and wanted to keep it. And I had to explain to her, baby, that ain't a kitty. That's a possum. So, but that possums don't bother me either. Scared the hell out of my wife. She's scared to death of them. They don't bother me. So, oh. Big Tech, send me a message if you need anything. Now we got yokes too. Of course, I've got a couple of neighbors around here. They hunt them because, by my understanding, you can get money for the pelts or whatever. I don't know, but they tend to it. Worst thing we've got, which is really not that bad here where we're at, but go a little further north, a little further south, and we get crackheads and meth heads. People ask me why, my air compressor ain't outside, and I flat out told them I was like, because crackheads and meth heads. But I've got a better security system now than when I first opened, so that's on my list of things to move outside is that air compressor, because when that dude cuts on, you can't hear nothing. And it scares the hell out of the cats. But yeah, yeah. I've never been coyote hunting, never had a wish to. Just like beaver hunting, I've got friends that do that. I'm not, that doesn't tickle my fancy. I like deer hunting, that's what I like. I could see enjoying turkey hunting, but not the way they do it now. And I get frustrated with customers because they'll sit here and talk about, yeah, with their 12 gauge, 3-inch, with the tungsten shot, they're reaching out and killing turkeys at like 80 yards. I'm going, man, that's not even fun. I says, you're talking to a man who, when deer hunting, if they came in that close, I'd take them with a pistol. Why? So it would actually be a challenge. Yeah. But like I said, growing up, I had uncles and cousins that turkey hunted, and they would brag and take Polaroids of how close they were able to get to the turkeys. And you're talking measuring in feet, not yards. I had one that claimed, of course, I believe him, right? Just because you had to know the man. But he said that he actually caught one and wrung its neck. So he called it in that close where he was able to snatch it and wring its neck. It's like, okay, there, Rambo. But yeah. Come on, phone, charge so I can get back to work. Because I'm enjoying this now. Now that we can actually have conversation and that kind of thing. Sonic cleaner's done. Hopefully it's loosened up that screw to where I can get it out so I can then loosen up the bolt and get it out. Because that thing's being a booger bear and a half. But Big Tex, what type FFL you got? You got an 01 or an 07? Because I'm trying to, like I said, I'm probably going to get an 07 just for regulatory purposes. What I'm going back and forth on is the SOT. If it's actually worth it or not. Because asking the ATF is, I'd get better response out of asking this filing cabinet. '07, do you have an SOT? It's worth having the SOT or not? Oh, see, I don't sell. Like, being perfectly honest, I don't sell guns. I don't sell suppressors. In 7 years of having the shop open, I've probably done less than 10 background checks. One of those was to my dad. One was to a local police officer. One was because I accidentally melted the guy's gun, so I had to replace it. One was for a charity, and the rest were because clients died and their family members had to come by and pick them up. And the main reason I don't sell guns or suppressors is because 15 minutes north of here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normal gun shops, not including like Walmart or Academy or anything like that. 15 minutes west of me is another gun shop, right? 15 minutes to the south of me is 2 more gun shops. About 30 minutes east of me is another 5 or 6 gun shops. You know. I mean, I get that. It's just, I don't want to do it. You know, being 100% honest, I don't want to do it. I get folks, because most of the gun shops around here also sell suppressors, right? So they'll buy the suppressors and then bring me the gun to thread it if need be. So yeah. And it's just weird. But whatever. It makes money. And by what I see, I personally don't see how some of the shops are making money on suppressors, and because there's not that much of a markup. You know what I mean? Because once again, they're competing with a bunch of others, so they're not doing MSRP, they're doing below it. Well, if they find out, oh, well, this one's selling it for $200 over cost, then we'll sell it for $175 over cost. And the first one sits here and goes, oh, well, this one's doing $175, so now it's, $150, and then, they race to the bottom. So there's no money in it for me. It's not worth my time. See, that makes sense, especially if you're in an area that's got a decent population, that would make sense, because now you're not just a one-stop shop, you are the one-stop shop, But I don't, I don't have that, so. But send me a message, Big Tex, and we'll or shoot me an email, and we'll talk a little bit more, because I have questions. I have a lot of questions that the ATF can't, explain, and so on and so forth. So, like the other day, they sat here and told me, well, just check out atf.gov. And I go, do you not think I haven't already done that? I legitimately pulled it up on my phone and was like, yep, this is where I'm talking about. You see, this is clear as mud. And I said, so I need clarification. Well, we blah, 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 blah. Yeah, thanks a lot. But let me be a minute late on them needing me for something. Bastards. I like my ATF agents. You know what I mean? Because they're cool guys and gals. We've got a couple of gals. But whenever I ask the hard questions, they just don't know. So, but thank you, Big Tex. Like I said, I'll probably reach out to you by email, and then maybe a phone call or something like that. And you can try to educate my dumb ass. Alright, I'm at 35%. That'll get me for a little while. Oh, now I can get back to actual working. What, Webley? Oh, I hate working late at night, because I'd much rather be in with my family and spending time with them and that kind of thing, but work's got to get done. It oozed out some of the grime. Let's see. thing still just is not moving. The lifter's not frozen. The sear's not in the way. I mean, this thing is just really and truly just seized up in there. Let me see if I've got a punch long enough to go at it from the back. Yep. Now, I don't like doing this, but sometimes you got to do it. There, got it to move forward. Let me put the handle back in. Now it's freed. Let's see how much varnish is on this dude. Yeah, I don't know how well it's gonna show up. Like, especially down here, that's where it was all being seized up on. And then right there in front of my finger. So yeah, I'm willing to bet this is just going to be a good clean and oil and that kind of thing. And then this thing will run like a scalded dog again. Because even running it through the sonic cleaner just a little bit, because I didn't have the heat on, I'm still just getting stuff off with my finger. Yeah. So, cool. I'll call the customer about that tomorrow and see if he wants me to proceed, which he should, because it's $45 to clean a freaking pew pew. That's it. Just $45. But you'd be amazed on how many sit here and go, hell no, that's still too expensive. Okay, so you're going to pay me my $100 diagnosis fee? Just pay me the $45, the gun will work, right? Or pay me $100 and the gun still don't work. Make that make sense. But some customers just don't make sense. Alright, so let me bag all this up. Now don't make fun of my bags. They've got a story. So my wife is a nurse, and they have to send all their stuff off for like their labs and that kind of thing. And they use the company, which I'm not going to show or tell you the company name, but then they changed companies, and when they changed companies, they had to throw away all these bags. And they're good heavy-duty bags. So I took them just for this reason. But I'm not going to put everything together. Just good enough where I can put it back in the vault and be done. Till I call the guy tomorrow and make sure he wants me to just clean the gun. He should, but once again, you never know. Give me a minute. This one's going to be easy. This one, the guy bought like a Timney trigger and installed it himself, then decided that he didn't like it and went to put the original back in it. And yeah, I broke one of the tabs off, so I've got one ordered. But while I got it, he wants me to Cerakote this base metal. So, yep. Now to put the screws back in so I don't lose them. But Big Tex, how often do you work late at night? Because what I think is the great part about working at night is you don't have customers calling you every 5 seconds. Let me put this in, and I'll get back to you. Yeah. Like I said, I just don't have customers calling me and all that fun jazz. Because that's where it gets frustrating. Like I had one the other day sitting here and call me. This was what he said, right? How much money do I need to bring up there? Sir, I have no idea who I'm talking to. Oh, well, you got my 30-06. Cool. Which one? I've only got probably 30 of them back here. You know, 30-06, that's one of the most popular calibers in the country. Oh, well, it's the Browning. Cool. That just narrowed it down to like 5. I give you a repair number, right? Whenever you come by and drop something off. What is it? Well, I don't know what it is. Okay. Well, how about what's your name? He finally told me, but yeah, we had to work through that because name he told me wasn't his government name. And I'm elbow deep in a gun. Yeah, I try to do Cerakoting at night as well. I'll do like my sandblasting and stuff like that during the day when I ain't got the kids. But, because that oven gets hot. Most people don't understand that. Stay. But on this one, the customer wants it re-blued. It was his granddaddy's, so I'm just going to tear it down so I can sandblast. Maybe tomorrow. With it being summertime, it's hard because I don't have air conditioning down here in the shop. So I don't like my kids being down here in the heat. So that's why I do a lot of stuff in the shop at night right now. That'll get blued. This won't. That's actually really nice. But I have to blue on Sundays, which I don't like to, but once again, it's the only day that one, I don't have to deal with customers, because if you've never blued anything, you don't fully understand how big of a pain it is. Like, I love it, don't get me wrong. It's one of those pains in the butts that I actually enjoy. Right? Kind of like my wife. Honey, if you're watching, I love you. But I just don't want kids around. I don't want people around. So on and so forth, because you got to watch that stuff. I don't know if you do bluing or anything there, Big Tex, but yeah. You do? Awesome! Finally, somebody else that does bluing. What bluing salts do you use? I like Light. I used to be a Brownells guy, but when it got to the point to where, hell, I could never get it, I switched to Light, and man, I haven't looked back. It's been one of the best decisions I've made. Blew them away. What do you mean, Mr. Duffy? Like, shotgun wedding? Ha-ha! Or what? Because that'd be funny regardless. Now, the guy that kind of showed me, and I have to say kind of showed me, was my mentor. Of course, by the time that I got him, he was sick. He was unfortunately on his way out, so I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted to with him. Oh, I got that extra one. I always forget about that extra screw. But I got his notebooks with his bluing stuff, and the man kept meticulous notes. I still got it somewhere around here. But he actually made his own bluing salts. Let's see. I have this little Cricket single shot. The action is jammed. Need to take it to somebody. Mr. Duffy, I don't know where you're at, but you know, if need be, holler at me. You know, you can ship guns to me. I'd be happy to take a look at it. You're in Denver. Dude, you're not far from, like, Trinidad College. You should, you know, reach out to them. You know. But yeah, and Brownells, Big Texas, I don't know what's going on with them. Okay, I really and truly don't, right? Because they used to have everything. Nope, that one's soldered in. I'm willing to bet. Maybe not. But, you know, I used to be able to buy tools from them, equipment, so on and so forth. Nope, it's not. It was just froze. Need to get some more butt behind it. But it seems like over the past, like, well, hell, since COVID, really, they've just quit. They've quit everything. And I don't understand, and I don't get it. You know, like, I use their Magnetip system, right? That's the screwdrivers I'm using. I love them, right? Big reason that I love them is these little thin bits, like what I'm using now. You know as well as I do, you'll break those dudes, right? Well, these have a lifetime warranty, and all I got to do is call them and say, hey, these are the numbers that I broke. I need some new ones, and they'll ship them out to me. But the last time I did it, they're like, oh, we're out of stock of that one. We're out of stock of that one. We're out of stock of that one. We'll put it all on back order. Okay. Hell, I'm still waiting on some of them. And it's been 6 months. So, yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to take this apart because I don't want YouTube to sit here and say, oh, my God, you're showing people how to disassemble guns. I know my limitations. But, Mr. Duffy, like I said, the Trinidad School is one of the best. In my opinion, they're one of the best gunsmithing schools in the country. Hell, maybe the world. I would definitely reach out to them, and if they won't look at it, they should be able to point you in the direction of someone who can look at it. Because, like I said, you're not far from them. Now, see, I don't do cold bluing very much. I do some just for like, oh, they got a scratch right here. You see what I'm saying? So I don't do that much. Let's see. This is blued. This is going to be blued. Now, what Brownells used to have that I loved as well was their slow rust bluing. But hell, they don't have it anymore. I have to go out to another company, but which is a great company. I really enjoy that company stuff too. But it's just, there's that learning curve, you know what I mean? When you get something new. See, those just look like pot metal. I don't think those will blue. Even though they'll stick to a magnet, I just don't think they'll blue. I might have to put them in my 64 bluing tank, which I'd hate to crank it up just for 2 screws, so maybe I got something else back there. Because I don't know about you, big techs, but I don't crank up my bluing tanks for one gun. I just don't. Like I had one that I finished up this season that has been in my shop since August of last year. Oh my God, that's so long. Yeah, it is, because they came in right towards the tail end of when I do it, and I sit here and told them and explained it to them. It's like, look, I don't do one, okay? I don't do just one. I don't make money, right? I said I'll spend an entire day stripping the finish and polishing it up to the level of bluing that it needs. Next day, I blew a bunch of them. Wow, that's crazy, but I've heard that Colorado has kind of started being like little California. Which I'm a big fan of education, right? That's what I'm big on. Dude, that's stupid. No firearm sale, private firearm sales, that's stupid as hell. But whatever. Yeah, I heard about the 10 round mag capacity. And all of that change might be why I haven't heard from a client in Colorado in a while. Because, like, I get guns shipped to me from all over the country. Except I don't do New York State, I don't do California, I don't do a few of them. Just because it's such a pain in the butt to get guns back to their owner. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting here going, well, that's stupid, right? It's their property. But there's a lot of things in the gun world that I think are stupid. But hey, big techs, I ran across something the other day that I haven't ran across. I had a customer come in with an AR upper, and he wanted the A2 front sight post. He's building kind of a retro build, right? And he bought these pins from Brownells, right? I'll show you. Let's see, that one's not too bad, right? But you see, these things are so soft that was one whack with a hammer. One whack with a hammer. This was me trying to put it in the press. And again with the press. So I wound up just making him some pins out of just some steel rod I had. I didn't know they were making these things so damn soft anymore. Like this is this aluminum? I didn't even check. No, it's steel, but this is a crappy steel. I've never seen anything so crappy, but I don't do a lot of those. So, oh, I had to reconnect there. Sorry. Oh, that just means somebody's probably tuned in and now seeing if they need to pull my live, because that's happened quite a few times in the past. That's kind of why I moved to Twitch for a little bit. Yeah, this wasn't drill rod because I didn't have any drill rod that size. I forget what I used. It wasn't 4140, maybe W2. I can't remember. But I had some that were about the right size on the big end, so all I had to do was just chalk it up my little lathe and cut it. But I was just tickled pink thinking, oh, this is a quick 5-minute job, because hell, he gave me the pins. Yeah. Garbage. But hey, that's Brownells now. It seems to be everything they put out is garbage. Ugh. But hey, you can buy guns from them. But you can buy guns from anybody online. All right, let me go see what else I can do tonight. Hold on. All right, well, I don't really have anything else I can do tonight, at least not on camera. The rest of it's like actual machining, trigger work, things of that, and I know the YT is not going to put up with that. So let's sit here and just talk and that kind of thing, because I got a few minutes. Extractor pins. Now, what are you calling the actual rivet? For like the old style 700s and what is it, 742s, 7400s, that kind of thing. Because if you're talking about rivets, I forget where I order mine. It's either from Gun Part Corp or Jack First. But if you're talking about pins for like, yeah, I just order them from there. Being 100% honest. Because there's finally a company that is making those. And like I said, it's either Numerich or Jack First. Those are the two that I'll order from. Hell, if I had my other phone turned on, I would look it up for you right fast, just so you'd know which one. Because that whole Remington parts thing is nuts. Because this is what I know about it. When Remington went bankrupt, there was a company that bought like 90% of the spare parts that Remington had at their factory. And they're down in Florida, and they have a warehouse full of parts that they're just sitting on. They're not even worrying about, putting out, right? Now they have stuff listed on their website, but God, it's outrageous, right? And it's gotten to the point to where certain parts, like I do a lot of Remington 870 ejectors. I bought several of the ejectors, different gauges and that kind of thing, back when I could, and I bought a set of the rivet pins when I could. Okay, and now I get them machined. You know, a lot of my machining anymore, I farm out. And honestly, because the guy that I use, he's faster at it than I am, right? And he does a good job. You know, with me being as busy as it is, I'd much rather, you know, take a part up there to him and go, hey, copy this exactly, and him have it back to me in a week, right? Than me sit at a milling machine for, or a lathe for several hours doing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he's got CNC stuff, so on and so forth. So he'll, like the rivets to put in the ejectors, he's got those, and I'll say, hey, I need a bunch of them, and he'll sit here and crank out like 20 sets, 20 or 30 sets, and then I go by and pick them up the next week. Like he does most of my barrel threading now. Just because I can sit here, pull the barrel, right? Send it to him, take it to him, because he just lives right up the road. I'll drop it off on Monday. He has it back to me Friday or Saturday. You know, that's what he does. You know, he is a good machinist, and he has a gunsmithing background. He just hated the paperwork. So, yeah. He goes, I don't work on guns because I hate dealing with the paperwork. I hate dealing with the stupid people. So he sends everybody to me. So, yeah. And then I'll do work for him too from time to time. Like he had something that needed to be blued a while back, so he brought it to me and it fit in the tanks. I told him if it fits in the tanks, I'll blue it. It's not a problem. If it doesn't fit in the tanks, then I can't blue it, but I'll Cerakote it. You know, and I've Cerakoted a few parts for him and tools and things of that nature. So it's we have a good working relationship. Now, granted, I would love to get CNC machines in here because I'm one of these that I like to keep stuff in house, right? I have more control over the quality control, okay? Because no joke, he has done a barrel for me that I sat here and looked at. I was like, dude, this is absolute garbage. What the hell did you do? He goes, what do you mean? And I said, look at it. He looks at it and he goes, oh shit, you're right. I'm so sorry. You know, he made it right, which is fine. But there was one, he had to buy me a barrel, being honest. You know, which, hey, we all screw up, we all make mistakes. I appreciate that he manned up and, you know, hey, he told me, because like when he screwed up the barrel, we were cutting it back already to legal length and threading it. Then he screwed up the threads. So he didn't have any room to cut it back, so we just bought a new barrel. He paid for it, which, like I said, I was happy with. I told him I'd work with him a little bit on it if we need to trade out work or something like that. But no, he was fine with paying the whole thing. He's a scuba diver too, so he wanted me to do his scuba tanks up in Cerakote. So what I did was actually made it look like Acme TNT, right, with like the Roadrunner, okay? And on the bottom, I sat here and put the actual cutout of Wile E. Coyote, where it looks like he kind of blew up and his arms are out. and it had a 1-star review from W. Coyote. Do not recommend. He thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. And every time he takes it out scuba diving, people ask where he got done. And I usually wind up doing 1 or 2 more tanks in something else. Now, most of the time when other people want it done, they just get it in a single color. But like I did a pink camo on one. That was fun. I like doing the odd and the different. But yeah, I had to make a custom hanger and reinforce my oven a little bit just to hang that tank. It was fun. Because even empty, that thing still weighs like 30 pounds. Oh. All right, anybody have any questions about gunsmithing? Because no offense, Big Tex, I'm getting tired. And I'm probably going to go in. Well, I've got to unload my truck because we did, one of the local gun shops had a grand reopening this past weekend, and they had me set up a booth, so that was fun. So yeah. Got to meet a lot of people, and they were doing a charity as well for a kid who's got leukemia. So they had a dunk tank. So my fat self got up there and got dunked. That was fun. Of course, it also kind of felt good because it was, with the heat index, everything was like 105. And I've been out there all day. The only downside was is that tank wasn't made for fat folks. So, yeah. But it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy doing meet and greets and things of that nature. Because I get to just sit there and talk guns. I'm guntistic. That's what a lot of my gun shops have started telling people about me. Just understand, he's guntistic, so he's going to talk your damn ear off about it. That's fine. Okay, worth hunting down ammo. That is completely up to you. Okay? If it were mine, yes. Okay? Would it be something that I would get, hundreds of rounds of ammunition for? No. But then again, I reload. Okay? So, like, I've got a 1870 something single shot bolt action 11 millimeter Mauser. Okay? It's black powder. I'm actually probably going to do some black powder substitute, which get your gun looked at by a competent gunsmith before you do that, or before you even shoot it. Okay? I have to put that little disclaimer in there. But if the gunsmith says that it's good, then yes, I would get ammo. And it would be something that, take it out and shoot it once or twice every now and then. Or if you're going to hunt with it, which my dumb self would hunt with it. Okay, just being 100% honest, I would hunt with it. Because, first off, not that many people hunt with black powder anymore, which I think is a shame, right? But, yeah. And I think it'd just be cool to take, a deer or something like that with something that old. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, you can have a massive buck, but you're shooting a modern, a Howa 1500 or something like that. People are going to be looking at the deer. So if it's not an impressive deer, people are like, oh yeah, cool. When you break out something that old and harvest an animal with it, people don't really care how big the animal is. So yeah. Because to be honest, if I get a chance to go hunting again, I'm going to take that 11 millimeter Mauser. You know, um, the only reason I'm going to do black powder substitute is just so it's not as dirty, not as corrosive. I use it in my 4570s and that kind of thing. But now, Mr. Brian, if you're into that old stuff, I cannot stress to you enough about getting into reloading, right? Because that's something that's dying as well, right? And yes, with reloading, you can get max performance and things of that nature, but which is cool. That's fine. Hey, you get a 300 Win Mag or a 6.5 Creedmoor to do blah 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 blah. Cool. Um, where I think reloading comes into a bigger effect is with stuff like that. You know, like I reload for my 303 British. I load ammo for my M1 Garand, which is 30-06. I've got some 1903s, 1903 A3s, 1903 A4s. You know, in my collection that I shoot 8 millimeter Mausers, 7 millimeter Mausers, 6.5 Mausers. Yeah, all that fun stuff. So reloading is where you need to go. It overwhelms people at first, but when you realize that you're baking a cake, essentially, you're following direct instructions, it's not that bad. The biggest thing is, once again, make sure you get the gun checked out by a competent gunsmith. Because heaven forbid, the headspace is off on that. Dear Jesus. If the headspace is off, that's going to be the hard part, I guess you can say, to fix. Um, but if you don't get it fixed, you get ruptured cases. Ha ha! That's a lot of fun. I get ruptured cases on a regular, well, not regular, but they're not uncommon either here in the shop. And oddly enough, the last one I had was on a North American Arms 22 Magnum revolver. Yeah, that was fun getting those out. That was a lot of fun. I think that's one of the ones I filmed and I just haven't edited to post here on my YouTube page. But yeah. Well, AJ, I was about to get to your comments, but I think you figured it out because I didn't get to finish reading them. So, hang fires aren't really as common with modern ammunition, okay? Um, Not saying that they don't happen, okay? But it doesn't happen as often as people think, okay? Now, how afraid be hunting with subs? Depends on the range. Once again, not trying to be funny or mean or ugly, but you're talking about subsonic. I'm assuming. Um, that's just moving less than 1,000 feet per second, roughly. Let me put that back in there, roughly. Um, so would I try to take a humane shot at 500 yards? No. 100 yards? Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's been a long day. I apologize. I've been up since 3 a.m., so you're going to have to forgive me. Or not. I'm at that point in time. So shooting with legitimate black powder, you if the gun is in good shape, that's the whole preference I'm going to sit here and make. The gun is in good, excellent working shape. Okay, nothing major wrong with it. Okay, the bore is great, headspace is great, it functions perfectly. Blah 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 blah. Um, with black powder substitute, it wouldn't be a problem. Once again, we're not talking about over 100 yards, in my opinion. Now, you might be able to work up a load, once again, if you're reloading, to where, hey, it's able to reach that, 120, 150. Past that, I'd be hesitant. You know what I mean? Which you can go and do um, some testing and things of that nature. Because the military back in the day before ballistics gel had a whole list of things that they did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the book Hatcher's Notebook. Because I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's liability on my end. No offense, no offense. But in that book, it kind of sits here and describes how the military used to test lethality at range, right? And what they actually shot. And they go, hey, if it goes through this, then it'll go through a person, that kind of thing. But like I know with my 4570 trapdoor with black powder substitute, I'm still comfortable at 100. And you're saying the opportunity is once in a lifetime. Don't mean that mean, ugly, or whatever, but you'd be surprised. Because I said that about my 4570. Hell, I said that about my Craig Jorgensen. Now, it is a once in a lifetime. Have a good one, Big Tex. I'll holler at you later. Um, okay, that's just motorcycles going down the road. I thought they were pulling into my driveway. We were about to have a fight. But what made my Craig Jorgensen a once in a lifetime truly was the price that I paid for it. When I saw it and bought it, I thought it was a once in a lifetime. But then, like once I got in this business and that kind of thing, hell, I've worked on a bunch of them since then. But me and my wife, we were dating at the time and went to a gun show, and I saw the Craig Jorgensen sitting there and waited patiently, got the man's attention, asked about it, and he asked me if I knew anything about it, and I just sat here and vomited all this information I had about it, and he sold it to me for $400, and that was 11 years ago. Walking out of that gun show, I was offered $1,800 for it. So the price made it once in a lifetime. 2.5K. If that's the one you want, get it. I'm not going to stop you, right? But if you're going to sit here and get it just because, oh man, where am I going to see another one? Definitely look at places like Rock Island Auction Company. They're one of my favorites, and I like Murphy's Auctions as well. Then there's a few smaller ones and that kind of thing. Like I'm trying to think of the one that's out in Atlanta. I can't think of it. Of course, the James Julia Auction Company is no more. They were pretty good. But like I know Rock Island has one, what is it, in Illinois, and another one in Texas. You can always look at them and see. But if that's what you want, you're just drooling over it, get it. Get it. All right. All right, well, that's a little curious. They're just driving back and forth on their big old motorcycles. That's weird. Any other questions? Anything at all? Anything you want to talk about? Because I'm drifting. It's about 10:30 here. Like I said, I've been up since 3 a.m. Yeah, not a problem. You know, this is why I'm here. This is why I do these things. Is I love to sit here and give out information and kind of talk. And I enjoy showing off the art that is gunsmithing, which I have to be careful on all of these apps because some will allow it, some won't. Some will only allow parts, others will allow everything, you know, so on and so forth. So it gets fun. That's kind of why I've started on Twitch. I think I've done one live on Twitch just to kind of test the waters. I was doing a bunch of stuff that like YT here don't necessarily let me do. So yeah. Yep. But but yeah. But Brian, once again, if you buy that Marlin, definitely get it checked out by somebody. Now, what was the one that I worked on for the man? I think it was a Winchester. Was it a 94? I don't remember right offhand because this has been a couple years ago, but it was in 3240, if I remember right. Yeah. And hell, he still deer hunted with it, and he had black powder substitute in it. So once again, that's, and the only reason he brought it to me was because it was starting to hang up a little bit, so I was able to clean it and fix it and that kind of thing. But yeah, I want to say it was like second year production of whatever it was, 94 and 87, something like that. I can't remember. It's been so long. All right, anything else? Anything? I'm giving it one more minute. If I don't have anything, I'll shut this down and do work that I know that YouTube's not going to let me show. Because it's actually like I got to do a trigger job. Anything? I got a moth or something in here that's bugging me. Yeah, that's the goal. Hopefully I don't sit in here and cut my hand wide open like I did a while back. That was fun. But I'm not doing any machining or anything like that, so I'm just doing file work. Man brought in a Marlin 3030, a modern one. Somebody had been inside of it screwing with it and doing a trigger job, and now it's so light that when you close the action, the gun will fire. Yeah. So I get to fix that. But, alright, well, y'all have a good night. Have fun, be safe. I don't know when I'll do another one of these. I'm going to try like once or twice a month. If y'all have any other questions that you need to talk to me sooner, please don't hesitate on emailing me. My email is somewhere in this. Yeah. Y'all have a good one.